Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and why don't you sit back, relax, and let me tell you about Octopath Traveler. At the start of the game, you'll get to choose from 8 different characters. You'll ultimately get to recruit all of them, but you can only start with one. There's a few different kinds of classes. There's a knight, there's a thief, there's a hunter, there's an apothecary, there's a cleric. There's a lot of choices, and a choice for everyone. I ended up going with Alphan. He's a young apothecary who likes to help people and attempts to find the cures for all the world's woes. The reason he does this is because when Alphan was very young, he got very sick. A random traveler came through, giving him an elixir, and he was cured. From then, he became an apothecary and has attempted to hone his skill to become a better doctor. Of course, you start with a mission to heal one of the villagers in the village you now live in. They were out in the woods exploring and were ultimately bit by a snake. Now, to heal a snake bite, you need to get the venom from a snake, because if you use the wrong anti-venom, it actually makes things worse. So you need to go find the snake, defeat the snake, and get the anti-venom. Now, just because Alphan is an apothecary doesn't mean he doesn't know how to fight. Gathering herbs out in the wild is very dangerous, and he can use an axe, and he also knows ice magic, on top of course, his apothecary skills. Octopath Traveler is a turn-based RPG. For those of you who've played like Final Fantasy, Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, anything like that, you'll be used to it. Even Pokemon. Basically, one person goes, and then the next person goes, back and forth. The big difference here is what is called the boost system. If you look above the HP bar, there's a little orange orb. And that orange orb is a boost point. You gain one of those per turn, and you can stack up to 3 on an attack. So, if you use a melee attack with 3 orbs, you hit once, and then 1 extra time for each orb, for a total of 4. They can also be used to boost your abilities, your magical abilities, your attack abilities, your buff abilities, anything like that, or to boost your defense when you defend. Now, you do only gain 1 per turn. So the idea is to break through an enemy's defense, save up your orbs, and then unleash a massive attack when their defenses are broke. Each enemy has a certain weakness, and if you break through that weakness and break through their defenses, then they will be vulnerable. They'll be stunned for a turn without any defenses, meaning that you can unload. Or you can use that turn to heal up, or to defend, or even to run, whatever it is you need to do in that instance. When you begin, most enemies only have 1 defense, meaning 1 attack generally breaks through and they're stunned. Makes it real simple. However, as you progress, they get more and more armor, which means you need to break through with more damage and more boosts. Sometimes you'll fight more than 1 enemy. If they all have the same weakness and you use an AoE attack, you can stun them all. But if they don't, then you have to start picking and choosing who you use your boost attacks on, because you can't stun them all unless you break through all of their defenses. Now, although my time with the game was currently limited, I can tell you this much. Mastering the boost system is going to be the key to beating this game easily. Like I said, the enemies at first are real simple, but eventually they start hitting very hard, and you'll have to heal through everything. One last thing I want to mention about the combat with Alphan, he can use his alchemy skills, his apothecary skills in combat to heal himself, heal just HP, heal poisons, etc., or even deal damage. He can use fire attacks. He just combines all of his things to either throw a jar at an enemy or to drink a jar. And it's real easy. The items are explained right in the inventory. They'll say something like, inflicts poison or heals poison. Real simple process. Real easy to get your head around. Being that Octopath Traveler is an RPG, there are tons of side activities to take part in as well. Side quests, hidden treasures, dungeons, of course recruiting extra characters, and chatting with NPCs. Lots to do. The big side thing is what is called the path actions. Each character has their own path action. Alphan's is called Inquire. It is just what it sounds like. You talk to an NPC and they give you information. This is how you get new items in shops, discounts at shops, side quest information, all sorts of things. Now, the other characters have their own path actions. The thief obviously can steal. The knight, he can duel with NPCs. The merchant can buy items from NPCs. Each one has their own thing, so you do need to recruit everyone and switch in between them to get the most out of the game. The best thing about the path action so far, for me at least, is the fact that it lets you do side quests different ways. You don't necessarily have to go out and just bust skulls. Maybe you learn information about something from someone else and then go talk to the NPC that gave you the quest and give them that information. And there you go. That's it. Quest complete without having to go out and find something. Makes things a lot more accessible for a lot of people. And just in case you couldn't tell, Octopath has a rather unique style. The art is classified as HD 2D. This means that they use the 16-bit art from like the Super Nintendo era, but they also have high definition backgrounds and high definition effects. The game looks really good actually, even docked and undocked. And I'm pleased to say that with the few hours I spent with it, docked and undocked, no frame drops, no crashes, no glitches, everything ran very good. The soundtrack is also great. I'm a pretty big fan of RPG soundtracks generally, but this one kind of stood above. It was one of those things where you noticed when the sound changed, like when you went into a town and a different music played, or a different area and the music played, and it just added to the feeling of the area. It's really well integrated, and so far, I've enjoyed it very much. Honestly, at this point, if you have a Nintendo Switch and you haven't tried the Octopath Traveler demo, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's free. You get to play the actual game for 3 hours. I just don't get why you wouldn't play it. Now, if you think this game looks awesome and you don't have a Switch, the game does release on July 13th. So you got until then to decide. Anyways, if you liked what you saw, got what you needed, you know how it goes. Like, comment, subscribe, check the links below. Join me on Discord. I talk about video games all the time. Anyways, later, Gators.